Assalamualaikum guys, today we are going to start with a new topic that is regarding security and ethics, or you may say when it comes to the O levels. So O levels, it's internet and its uses, and when it comes to the AS level, so we do have two different topics over here. One is for the security and data integrity, and the other one is regarding the ethics. So first of all, starting with the security part, that what is the security? When it comes to security, so what do you mean by the terminology security? If you're going to store, or if you're going to protect any kind of the data from any threat. Now it may be the physical threat, or it may be an online threat, or an electronic threat. So if you're going to secure your data from these kind of the stuff, so that is particularly known as the security. Now what could be the threats? Virus, पहले पढ़ चुके हैं आप लोग. Spywares, war driving, farming, phishing, hacking, and cracking. It may include the brute force attack as well. It may include the ransomware as well. It may include the adwares as well. Okay. Coming towards the types of the security procedures, so they are the passwords, anti-hacking software, antivirus software, firewalls, anti-spyware softwares, and all. When it comes to the virus, what is a virus? Now we will be dealing with each and every one in detail one by one. Okay. Now coming towards the virus, that what is a virus? Unwanted program means these are not the required program, because their purpose is to just corrupt your data files, or to destroy your data files, or to just simply hack your system or whatsoever. Okay. So unwanted piece of a code or unwanted program whose purpose is simply to corrupt or destroy your data. Then we do have types of the virus as well. They include worms, Trojan horses, time bombs, file infectors, boot sectors, macros. Now these are the form of the viruses that we are dealing with. So number one, we are going to start with the worms. What is a worm? Now these are the types of the virus that are going to duplicate themselves. Like for example, Abdullah is going to duplicate himself. 1 से 2, 2 से 4, 4 से 8, and so on. So what is going to happen? Obviously, the space is going to fill up in the hard drive. And once the space is going to fill up in the hard drive, so obviously what's going to happen? It will be a hard drive crash. आपकी hard drive क्या हो जाएगी? आपके पास crash हो जाएगी. Coming towards the Trojan horses, now what are the Trojan horses? Now these are the types of the viruses that are basically hitting the exe file. Now what do you mean by the exe file? These are the executable files, or you may say these are the main files that are responsible to run an application. Am I clear till this point, Abdullah?
Yes.
Clear, Anas? Anas,
Yes.
Arvashina. Clear, beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Moving towards the time bombs. Now, what are the time bombs? Now, these are the types of the virus that are hidden in your system. Now, they may come from a USB, they may download from any kind of the application, or from any kind of the website. So they will be hidden in your system, just like a real time bomb. But as soon as the particular date and the time arrives, they are going to blast. Now, blast over here does not mean that they are going to physically blast. Blast over here means that they are going to spread out in your system in a too rapid manner that you won't be able to provide a secure environment to your system again. Okay. Then it comes with the macros. Now, what do you mean with the macro over here? First of all, you need to understand the definition of a macro, because the thing is that macro virus is something they are saying they infect the macro predefined set of the instruction of a system. Now, what do you mean? For example, okay. So, for example, I'm writing an instruction of, you may say, I've written this instruction this much times. Okay. Now I'm also saying that this complete instruction from here till here is equivalent to Anas, for example. Okay. Now I'm asking you guys to write this entire part 100 times. Is it easy to write this part 100 times, or is writing Anas 100 times is easier? Anas. Okay, fine. Yes, Anas, what do you say? Your name or the code?
So name, obviously.
Name, obviously. Okay. So writing a name is 100 times is much more easier as compared to writing multiple line of the code. So macro is something that we create up a function over here with a particular variable name, and inside that particular variable name we have multiple code of the lines, and wherever we are utilizing that particular variable name, that variable name will actually work with the coding that you have done in that, or you have done the internal coding of that particular variable. Okay. Now they are saying over here Okay. Now they are saying that they are going to infect the macros. That means the predefined function. That means they're going to hit the internal programming of that variable. And if the internal programming of that variable is hit, obviously there will be a malfunction. Then come with the file infector. Now, what are the file infector viruses? They infect .xls, that means Excel files, PowerPoint files, document files, yani Word files, and these all sort of the file, like for example, .com and all. Okay. Boot sector, now that's the deadliest virus. Why it's the deadliest virus? Because all these viruses that we have just studied right now, they're gonna hit your operating system. Okay. But when it comes to the boot sector, so it's going to hit the booting section. That means the startup section of your system. Basically, the ROM. ROM is being hit over here. And if the ROM is hit over here, so obviously what's going to happen? If the ROM is hit, you won't be able to revive that particular thing. Like for example, if we say that if you get ill, God forbid, if you get ill, if you guys get ill, so what's going to happen? Like you will be recovered within a day or 2 or 3 days, whatsoever. But what forbids, if anything happens to the brain, so the recovery chances from there are quite low. Okay. Now coming towards the passwords. Am I clear till this point? Yes. Anas, Ashina, and Arwa?
Yes.
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now moving towards the passwords. Now what are the passwords? I have written over here group of letters or and. Now why do I have mentioned over here or and? The reason behind is because it might be or and as well as it might be and. Because if you don't want a particular special set of the characters, like for example, you don't want the @ symbol or the hashtag symbol or whatsoever. So or and special characters or and number arranged in a particular manner that is particularly known as the passwords. Now we do have two different types of the passwords, encrypted and decrypted passwords. Now, encrypted password means that if anything is in the unpredictable format, like for example, if you guys are tapping the pin code of your cell phone, so you just see that dots are over there. Is it so? These dots are basically in the encrypted format because you aren't able to see the code that you have mentioned over here. But for example, if my pin code is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm able to see this pin code, so that is known as the plain text or the decipher text. Okay. Now, similarly, encrypted text is also known as the ciphertext. CYPHER ciphertext. You may find one more spelling for the cipher, that is CIPHER. Now, different books are having different spellings, so you may consider any one of them, no issues with the spellings. Decrypted, that means anything that is in the predictable format or in a plain text. Now, one more security procedure is regarding the firewall. So what are the firewalls? We have done with the firewalls and the gateway as well earlier, right? Now, for the O-level students, what are the firewalls? Type of the physical or the electronic security. Now, it may be the physical as well as it may be the electronic security that is applied on the gateway of a system. Now, what do you mean by the gateway? Gateway is a particular area or a particular path through which any data is going out from your network, or similarly, it is going to come inside your network. So that particular place is known as the firewall. Okay. Now, known as the gateway, and over that particular gateway, we are applying the firewall so that it can keep a log of all the data that is going out of the network or going or coming in or into the network. Okay. It also checks whether the data that is going out or coming in is meeting a particular criteria or not. Then coming towards the types of the software license. So we do have 3 different types of the software license. That is the freewares, free softwares, and shareware. When it comes to the AS levels, so instead of the freewares, they use the term, instead of the free softwares, they utilize the terminology open source softwares. Both the things are same. Free softwares or open source softwares. Now, for the free softwares, what does it say? These are the types of software in which you can make any kind of the amendments as well as they are free of cost given to you. There are no charges for it, as well as the source file is also provided to you so that if you need to make any kind of the changes in that, in the basic programming of that particular software, so you are allowed to do that without any kind of the hesitation. Clear? Then come with the freeware. Now, freeware are the types of the softwares that are not open source. They are provided to you free of cost for unlimited time domain, but you cannot make any kind of the amendments or any kind of the changes in the basic programming of that particular software. Got this point? Yes. Got this point, all of you? Harva?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now, moving ahead, coming to the shareware. Now, what do you mean by the shareware softwares? Now, these are the types of the software that can be availed for a particular time domain. Basically, they are provided the trial versions. The trial version of a particular software, if it is provided to you guys, so that is known as the shareware. Like, for example, Zoom. Zoom right now, I don't know what about you guys, but right now I'm using the trial version of it. So trial version has limited features. It does not allow me the complete features regarding the Zoom. Okay. But if I'm gonna pay it or if I'm gonna purchase that particular software, so they will allow me to, or they will provide me the complete features of it. But even though they won't be giving me the source code of that particular software. Okay. Am I clear till over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now this is the working of the SSL. Now, what is the SSL and how does it work? We will be dealing it with the book once we are coming to it. So just give me a second so that I can open up the book as well. Okay, guys. So is my screen visible to you guys?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Now we are moving ahead. Now we are coming first of all towards different type of the further coming towards different type of the attacks. Now, how to understand these? This orange box is particularly the name of the attack. This will define you that what that attack is going to do. This will be the possible security risk, and this will be the procedures or the methods to safeguard from it. Coming towards number one, hacking. Now, what do you mean by the hacking? Hacking is something if you're gonna access someone else's data without their prior knowledge or without their prior information, that is particularly known as hacking. Now, what can it do? It can lead to identity theft as well as it can gain your personal details, like for example, the bank details, the ID card numbers, or the credit card numbers, or whatsoever in this form. Okay. Now, what are the methods to safeguard from it? These are the firewalls. Okay, we will be dealing with the fire. I just explained you the firewalls, but we will be dealing that in detail when it comes to the firewalls topic again. Okay. Use of the strong password. Now, what do you mean by the strong passwords? You can use the cap locks form or the case sensitive. That means you are taking it as the capital letters as well as the small letters. And similarly, you can just mix up with the characters as well as you can mix up some of the numeric values over there as well. Anti-hacking softwares can be also utilized. Now they have given over here a note. Now what does that note says? They are saying that if you're going to encrypt your data, so that won't stop the hacking. Even if your data is encrypted, even though a hacker can just hack your data, okay? But it would be useless for that particular hack. Why? Because until unless he or she is not going to decrypt that, or they're not going to convert that into the predictable format, until then they won't be able to get that data. That means they won't be able to understand that data. Now there is a minor difference between two terminologies, that is cracking and hacking. As I told you guys that hacking is something that if you're going to access someone else's data without their knowledge, so that is known as hacking. But when it comes to the cracking, so cracking is something that going to someone's data and just making some kind of the amendments in that and coming back without stealing that particular data. So if you're gonna make any kind of the amendments in that particular data, that is, or addition, or sorry, editing in that particular data, so that is known as cracking. Whereas when it comes to the hacking, so hacking is something that you are going to steal that particular data. So there is a minor difference between a hacking and a cracking. Coming to the virus, so we have just done with the virus. So these are few more things. Just go through this so that we can move ahead. Giving you a minute, just go through this. Come on. Okay, guys, now moving ahead, coming towards phishing. Now, what do you mean by the phishing? The terminology phishing refers to a legitimate looking email. Legitimate means real or the authenticated looking email, but actually these are not the authenticated emails. Now, what is then? What are they then? They are particularly legitimate looking emails. As soon as they come to your system, you just click over that particular uh, email or that particular link. So as soon as you're gonna click or tap over that particular link, any sort of the virus that is hidden beside that particular link will download in your system, or they might redirect you to the new or the pop-up page or the new page or the new website that will be asking or that might be asking about your personal details, such as your bank details, such as your credit card number, such as your personal information, and all these stuff. So this is the thing given over here. The creator of the email can gain personal data such as bank account numbers from users when they visit the fake website. This can lead to fraud or identity theft. Now, how are you gonna safeguard yourself from this? Number one, they are saying many ISPs. Now, what do you mean by the ISPs? Any one of you?
The internet service provider.
It's internet service provider. Now, that means your server from which you are getting the internet service. Now, they are saying that the ISPs basically filter out the phishing emails. Why is that so? The reason is because you're having your standalone system is only having a data that is related to you, but the ISP is having multiple sort of the data. So they need to filter out such emails, or you may say such bogus websites, or you may say the viruses and all these stuff. So ISPs are gonna filter out the emails, but if they have also missed those emails, so you need to be cautious that what kind of the links are you gonna open up. Now they are saying the legitimate looking emails often use large companies such as well-known banks to try to convince the customer that email is authentic, because these sort of the companies or these sort of the organizations, if they are utilizing the names of these companies or organizations, so you might be thinking, okay, that's a fine one. But as soon as you're going to click or tap over them, you are in trouble. Moving ahead, coming towards farming. Now, what do you mean with the farming? Farming is something that's a malicious code installed on the user's hard drive. Now, what do you mean with the malicious code? Obviously, a sort of a code that is harmful to you. Okay. Now it's stored on a particular hard drive, and as if you're gonna open up the Google or something, so they won't let you go to the particular website. They will redirect you each and every time to the new website or the new web page, and ultimately that website or web page will be asking for your personal detail, especially your bank accounts. Now, what is the reason that they are asking again and again for the bank account? Because all your money is transacted over there, and once they are gonna get that particular thing, so obviously their attempt is fulfilled or their reasons are fulfilled. Okay. Now the creator of the malicious code can gain personal data such as bank account numbers from the users when they visit the fake website. This can lead to fraud or identity theft. Now coming towards the procedures that how you can safeguard. Use of the anti-spyware software. Okay, we haven't studied about the spyware till now, so this I will be telling you just after this. The user should always be alert and look out for the clues that they are being redirected to the new or the fake bogus websites. Now, the most important factor. How can you safeguard from it? They are saying that if you are redirected to fake or bogus websites, so make sure that when you are opening up that particular website or the URL of that particular website should contain HTTPS, that means Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, or it may include a padlock symbol, or you may say a lock symbol, so that you will be sure about these things, that these websites that you are accessing right now, they are the secured websites. Am I clear till over here, guys? Abdullah, Anas, Mohib, Arwa,
Yes, sir.
Ashina beta.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now moving ahead, coming towards war driving. Now the most interesting one. If you are gonna look over it, so that's the least interested crime, but the most important one. Why is that so? Now it says that act of locating and using wireless internet connections illegally, it only requires a laptop or other portable device, a wireless network card, and an antenna to pick up the wireless signals. So what do you mean by that? For example, if you are entering a particular building and you are opening up your Wi-Fi, so you will be getting signals of multiple Wi-Fi's over there, because each and every router that is placed nearby you will get the signals out of it. Now, you may say that if you are just looking over it in a particular main, that's not a big deal if you are just stealing someone Wi-Fi and you are just utilizing it. So that's not a big deal. But what happens if, for example, let's take an example of Anas. Anas wants to commit a crime, a cyber crime, and he enters a particular building where Abdullah is living. So what he do? He was the Wi-Fi of Abdullah was not having a particular password. Okay, so what did Anas do? Anas said, "Okay, I am getting this Wi-Fi now. I can commit a cybercrime from him." Okay, he committed a cybercrime. Now, when the agencies, or you may say when the cyber teams are going to look for that particular person, so they will be first of all arresting who? Anas or Abdullah? The one who committed the crime, or the one whose Wi-Fi was stealed? पहले कौन पकड़ा जाएगा?
Abdullah.
Abdullah, because the person whose Wi-Fi has been utilized, he will be the one who will be arrested. The reason behind is because the first of all the IP will be traced, and then they will be finding the particular MAC address. So the IP was related to Abdullah. So that's the reason we ask you guys to put up a particular password over your Wi-Fi so that it should not be hacked easily. Now they are saying it is possible to steal a user's internet time allocating by downloading large file. Like for example, you guys are going to the office and coming back from the office, you are saying, okay, now it's a Friday. We are having a Saturday and Sunday off, so I should download a particular movie in the HD format so that I can spare my weekend in a quite good manner. So that's quite wrong, very bad. It is possible to hack into the wireless network and steal a user's password and other personal details as well. Now over here, use of the wired equivalent privacy. Now, what do you mean by that? Anybody of you have seen Money Heist season 3, in which they were planning?
Yes.
Okay. In which they were planning for that particular robbery in the Bank of Spain. So you might have witnessed over here. Who is the person? Can you just say again? Mohib or Anas? Who was that who said yes?
Sami.
Okay, Anas. So what did Professor said over there? That they won't be utilizing any kind of a wireless device to communicate inside the bank or outside the bank, but instead of that, they will be utilizing the landline phones. The dialogue was regarding that we will be moving back to the 90s and we will be utilizing the landline phones over there. Why is that so? Because once you are transmitting, or for example, once you are transmitting the data from your cell phones, so it's quite easily hackable. But if the data is going from one point to another point in a wired format, it is quite difficult to hack. This data is open for all. This is not open for all. That is the reason that it is difficult to hack. And that as it is open for all, so this is available to all. So WEB encryption, that means wired encryption, you may utilize over there. Protect use of the wireless devices by having complex passwords, as I just told you, and they are saying use of the firewalls as well. Coming towards the spyware and key logging, another interesting one. What are the thing about that? The spyware or the key loggings are something that you may say you are utilizing a laptop or a computer. There is a backend program that is running, and it is going to monitor, or you may say it is going to keep a log of all the keys that you have pressed over there. कोई भी की जो आपने प्रेस की है वो आपके पास क्या हो रही है, वहां पे लॉग होती जा रही है. Even though your passwords, your IDs, or even though you have pressed an enter button or whatsoever, all the things will be logged over there. You have closed or you have signed out from all the particular stuff, and this notepad sort of a file will be at the back and you won't be able to see that. Yeah, but the originator who has just started this file can easily see that. And once it is in the hand of that particular originator, so he can access all your accounts now, whatever you have mentioned, first of all, okay, all your accounts, all your bank details, or whatsoever what you have done, it is accessible by that particular person. So it's written over here. Software that gathers information by monitoring key presses on the user's keyboard. The information is then sent back to the person who sent the software. Gives the originator access to all the data entered using keyboard on the user's computer. The software is able to install other spyware, read cookie data, and also change the user's default web browser. Now, over here, what they're saying, use of the anti-spyware softwares. Now, I think so you guys may know that what is anti-spyware software. The user should always be alert and look out for the clues that their keyboard activity is being monitored. And finally, they are saying that you should use the touch screens or the mouse or the virtual keyboards instead of the physical keyboards, because they won't be registered or they won't be mentioned. Clear till over here, guys, to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now I'm just leaving this part with the cookies because I need to explain that in detail. So I will be explaining in the next class. Now coming towards the loss of the data and data corruption. Now what is the loss of the data and data corruption? So when it comes to the loss of the data and data corruption, there are 4 methods in which your data can be lost or it might be corrupted. Number 1, hardware malfunction. Number 2, software malfunction. Number 3, accidental loss. Number 4, incorrect computer operations. Now coming to back to the number 1, hardware malfunction. For example, your hard drive crashed, okay? Your monitor stopped functioning. These are the hardware malfunctions. Software malfunctions, any executable file is hit by a virus, okay? Any application malfunction, this is a software malfunction. Number 3, accidental loss. By mistakenly, you just deleted a file. By mistakenly, any sort of the liquid just pours into your system. These are guys got forfeits, your guys got mugged. All these are accidental loss. And finally, incorrect computer operations. You're not closing the files or shutting down the files properly or the systems properly. So obviously they may affect your saved data as well as your hard drives as well. Now there are the methods given that how you can recover your data from any kind of the loss and how you can safeguard from it. So always to remember, the best way to recover any kind of the data is through the backups. If you do have a backup of a particular thing, that means your data can be recovered easily. Now, how to safeguard from an accidental loss? They are saying save data on regular basis and use of the passwords and user IDs to restrict access to the authorized users only. Hardware fault. Okay, recovery method is a backup. And how you can safeguard that, they are saying use of the UPS, save data on the regular basis, use of the parallel systems as backup hardwares. Parallel system means that, for example, right now I'm working on my laptop. I should be having another laptop as well. So in case, God forbid, if anything happens to my system, so I can go with another system. Okay. Then moving ahead. Just hold on, guys. Okay. Now the software fault. Again, use of the backups. Save data on the regular basis. That might be freezes and all. Okay. Then incorrect computer operations, again, use of the backups. And similarly, they are saying give the proper training to your staff so that they should not do any sort of the stuff that might do incorrect operation or that might hurt your system. Am I clear till over here, guys? To all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Please.
Now coming towards the firewalls and the proxy servers. I do like this topic. First of all, number one, coming towards the firewalls. Now, as I told you that we need to discuss firewall in details. So we are discussing over here that what are the firewalls. Now, there are few of the functions of the firewalls. As I told you that firewalls are basically the sort of the thing that they are applied over the gateways. Their major functions are to keep a log of the data that is going out or coming in into your network. They will be allowing you to set a particular criteria to restrict the data or to allow the data and all these stuff. Okay. Now, similarly, they have given 7 or 8 points over here about the firewalls. Number one, examine traffic between the user and a user's computer and a public network. What is going in and out. Now, checking whether the incoming or outgoing data is particularly meeting that particular criteria that you have given to it. If the data fails the criteria, the firewall will block the traffic and give the user or network manager a warning that there may be a security issue. Now, always do remember that they will give you, like for example, you might have seen, if there is a virus, the antivirus just informs you about that particular virus, that there is a virus. Now, you need to perform that particular operation by your own. Antivirus won't do it by themselves. Yeah, there now in the latest antivirus or in the latest anti-firewalls, there are the features that you allow them or you give them the permission that they can perform it automatically. But actually, they will be asking you to do that particular thing. Logging all incoming and outgoing traffic, that means it's maintaining all the log. Criteria can be set over here, helping to prevent virus or hackers coming in your network, and warning the user if some software on their system is trying to access an external data source, like for example, automatic upgrades. So it will be asking about the automatic upgrades as well. Now, there are few of the tasks that a firewall cannot perform. These are 3 tasks. They are, okay, now the task of a firewall and what it cannot perform. They are repeatedly asked in your O levels as well as your AS level as well, okay? Now, number one, it cannot prevent individuals on internal network using their own modems to bypass the firewalls. If you're going to bypass it by your own, so firewall cannot do anything. If you're going to create any kind of the misconduct or carelessness, even though the firewall is not responsible for that particular thing. Finally, if you're going to disable the firewall by your own, even though firewall cannot do anything. Clear? Is that clear, Muhib, Anas, Arwa, Ashina?
Please, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So that's all for today. We will continue in the next class tomorrow, and most probably the tomorrow timings will be from 1 p.m. till 2 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. I will be confirming you about the timings by tonight, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you so much, guys. Allah Hafiz.
Office.
Allah Hafiz.